Ladies, thank you. Thank you all very much for coming. Again, I want to thank our council members for joining us. I think we have all of our council members except Mr. Charbonnet and Ms. Head. Like everyone else, my patience is wearing thin. I said earlier in this episode that if this turned into an electricity event, that's just another phase of the event, and duration on these things equals stress. It's common that it occurs, but it doesn't make it any less painless. Our city's feeling the strain and the stress of being without power. This is more than an inconvenience. It continues to be dangerous for everybody, and I want to ask everybody to continue to be very, very cautious as we work through these very difficult issues. While the majority of the city of New Orleans is living without power, our friends in Lake Catherine, Irish Bayou, Fort Pike, and Venetian Isles, all of whom live outside of the levee protection, are experiencing impacts in what for them was worse than what many of us felt during Katrina. And so we are working very aggressively to provide the communities outside our levee protection system with the critical assistance that they need. And we're working to provide our residents without power across the city with access to critical supplies and medical needs shelters. We will continue to provide for you a running list of key business openings, including grocers, pharmacies, gas stations, and hardware stores on ready.nola.gov. Many people have been out and about and aware of many of these businesses that have already opened, and it has been extremely helpful. I was in the in the Home Depot this morning on Earhart, and they, along with other operations, are beginning to do great work, and I really appreciate their availability, and they have plenty of inventory. We're working with the National Guard to provide citizens in distress with access to critical supplies, including water, ice, and meals ready to eat. Those wonderful things that we thought we would never have to touch again. MREs are back in our lives, and tarps. Because the need was so great, we have requested that the governor and the National Guard open 3 new points of distribution for a total of 6 sites across the city. These new sites will be located at Venetian Isles, at 4300 Alba, the Municipal Auditorium on Basin Street near Armstrong Park, and Tad Gormley Stadium on Marconi Drive in City Park. Other locations that are currently operating are 5501 Reed Boulevard in New Orleans East near Methodist Hospital. Folks should line up on Lake Forest Boulevard. 2730 Vespasian Boulevard on the West Bank. This is off of General de Gaulle and Whitney. 700 Poland Avenue, the part of embarkation in the Bywater. Folks should line up on Charter Street. For those individuals that have been in and around these areas, they were set up here because of opportunity for traffic flow, because it is very heavy. So I'd ask everybody again to be courteous and understand that you're forming a line and that regular traffic is flowing by you, and just ask for extra caution as folks line up. These pods are open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. We've seen wait times at these sites last way too long. We've seen certain supplies run out, and delays in restocking have taken too long. So I've spoken with the governor and the National Guard. I've asked them to redouble their efforts. They've assured me that they will work aggressively to make sure that we have supplies and the personnel we need to operate these locations as efficiently as possible. On the elderly, we are particularly concerned about them and the people with special medical needs. I have dispatched Health Commissioner DeSalvo to 5 independent living facilities and assisted living facilities. She and her team went door to door in these facilities, and we are reaching out to bedridden patients in their homes. As it relates to special needs shelter, yesterday we opened a medical special needs shelter for people who have high-risk medical conditions. In partnership with the state and federal government, this shelter is providing care right now for 75 people. They're caring for hospice patients, people whose medical equipment is electrically dependent, medically fragile residents, and people who rely on oxygen. Please call 504-658-2500 for more information to get registered. I'll give you that number again. 504-658-2500 for more information to get registered. The most impacted area in the city is outside of the levee protection. As I have said, our neighborhoods outside of the levee protection were Lake Catherine, Irish Bayou, Fort Pike, and Venetian Isles. They are recovering from devastated flooding. The water is not yet completely down in the area. In an abundance of caution, and I want to state that again, out of the abundance of caution, a precautionary boil water advisory has been issued for Venetian Isles subdivision only, not any of the other neighborhoods out there, only for Venetian Isles subdivision from the floodgate to the Chef Pass Bridge. This has been issued in Venetian Isles only. The rest of Orleans Parish has not. The rest of Orleans Parish has not been impacted. The fire department is there now distributing water in this area. As I said yesterday, the fire department evacuated 7 people. Emergency personnel provided food and water to the residents that sheltered in place. The National Guard has dispatched an ice truck and other supplies to this area. I have also urged the governor to include Orleans Parish in the federal disaster declaration amendment so that the people outside of our levee protection system and others in the city can have access to individual assistance from FEMA. The governor assured me that he will press this issue. I want to assure the people of Lake Catherine, the Irish Bayou, Fort Pike, and Venetian Isles, we're focused on your recovery. We know you're there, and we're going to work aggressively to get you and your families through this disaster that for you was in many ways worse than Katrina. As it relates to security, Chief Surpass will speak in more details to these issues, but the NOPD continues to be out in full force enforcing the law. We've talked about this before, but effective anti-looting patrols have been in place in every district. For the second night in a row, there were no new cases of looting. The city is secure, and law and order will be the ruling of the day. The fire department, as well as all hands on deck in the last 24 hours, firefighters once again responded to 4 one-alarm fires and 4 building collapses. In the recovery and cleanup phase, notwithstanding the power outages, city workers are getting the city back into shape. Again, today at daybreak, nearly 600 workers moved out to clear down trees and debris. Thanks to their hard work, all of the major thoroughfares are passable. Today, they will continue to clear the problem areas called in to 311 and 911 by you. They will focus on secondary and interior streets today. In terms of scope, there were 1,100 downed trees that have been called into 311 in the neighborhoods across the city. As we go to a 311 call, we find even more. When a tree is tangled with a wire, we need help from Entergy before we can cut that tree for safety reasons. So we encourage residents again to please be safe around these trees and these power lines. They are down on interior streets. We are aware of them. The assessment has been done, and we are getting to them. Dozens of public work employees and contractors continue to place temporary stop signs at intersections and remove fallen street lights and signs. Again, until these electricity comes back on, please be very careful as you're traveling throughout the streets. I think everybody's doing a great job, but we have had a number of accidents. And, of course, we don't want people to be harmed. So just, when you get to an intersection, pay attention, look both ways 2 or 3 times before you go. And be careful. We encourage residents to continue to call in problems that they see to 311. We have resumed curbside garbage pickup. Because of the high volume, and this is understandable, some of our contractors did not finish their routes on the day they were supposed to. So keep your trash curbside. If they missed your trash today, they will pick it up tomorrow. We urge residents to put their trash curbside and not on the neutral grounds. We've already made several passes on many neutral grounds in the city. We're trying to return to normalcy, and if the citizens will work with us, we'll be able to get the city clean and keep it clean. Again, put your trash on the curbside, not on the neutral ground. And for those of you who I said you could park the car on the streetcar tracks, I didn't mean you could put your trash there too. So if y'all could work with us on that, I would appreciate it. This is particularly important on and around streetcar tracks. Again, as I've said, a lot of folks are using where the streetcar tracks move to put their debris. That's not really good. We're trying to get everything stood back up so we can start moving folks around as we did before the storm. We urge you again to move your cars from the neutral grounds. We've allowed citizens to park there to protect their cars from flooding, but now's the time to move your cars. We've noticed this a couple of different days. Now we're towing. And so we need you to get out there and take care of your business. We know that your patience is wearing thin. I'm urging you again to let patience and common sense and caution be the order of the day so that we can get through this emergency without injury or loss of life. Conditions on the roadways are still hazardous. We have 466 traffic signals in the city. Many remain without power, although they're being restored as we speak. As I said, trees and power lines have been down. Stop signs and street lights have been knocked out. The NOPD has responded to 71 auto accidents since the storm began. So we ask you again to be cautious. Last night, firefighters responded to a fire on St. Claude caused by an improper use of a generator. When you refuel your generator, let it cool down first. Keep it outside. Don't put your generator inside. Do not put your generator in a garage. We've listed these safety tips on ready.nola.gov. And again, I might say to the citizens, we have been through very, very difficult times together. This is a very difficult and trying time, but it is not something that we cannot handle. We have demonstrated to the people of America what resilience really looks like. I would let you know that I know that the next couple of days are going to be very, very difficult, and I want to ask us to, keep pulling together as one team, and we will eventually get there. And remember, this too shall pass. So let me please call Charles Rice. Energy is the rule of the day. When we get back our power, everything else is going to get a lot easier. And so I'd like to ask Charles to make some comments, to answer some questions, and then I'm going to ask him to leave so that he can get his team back to work. Thank you, Mr. Charles Rice.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, let me state that we appreciate the opportunity that the city has given us to address the citizens, and also we appreciate the city working very cooperatively with us in this process. Let me just start out by giving a couple of comments. We began to feel the effects of the storm on Monday. The storm sat on top of us from Monday until Thursday morning. Customers began losing power on Monday. We're very much aware of that. But it was not until Thursday mid-morning that we could put buckets up in the air. This is day 3 of our restoration efforts. Our crews worked until about midnight last night, and as a result of about midnight last night and the work they've done, we put about 50,000 customers back in service. This morning we put another 1,500 back in service. During our assessments, which are not complete, we have found 150 down poles, 200 down lines, 28 damaged transfers, 100 lines with trees sitting on them, and 140 damaged cross arms which hold up the lines. Right now we have about 1,828 people working in the city of New Orleans to return service. That's 1,400 linemen and 427 support personnel to include tree trimmers. As I stated, our assessment continues. We have all of our substations hot, and we are now beginning to work on the lateral feeds which bring power into the neighborhoods. Our crews are working in all areas of New Orleans. Again, just because you do not see someone working in your neighborhood, that does not mean that we are not addressing your issue. We anticipate that, and this is a very conservative estimate, that 70% of Orleans Parish should have power by Monday, 90% by Wednesday. And again, this is a very conservative estimate. Customers in Lake Catherine and Venetian Isles will take longer. We just got access to those areas. I don't know if we have complete access because as I've observed the area, and I actually flew over it yesterday, there's still a lot of debris in the roadway, and the streets may still be impassable. Our crews began work at 5 a.m. this morning, between 5 and 6 a.m. this morning. I just want to talk everyone through the process. The process is that the crews get up, they get on buses, they have to be bused to breakfast. They need to eat. The crews eat. From there, they have a safety briefing. From there, they get their work orders, and then we begin putting needed equipment on the trucks. If trucks are there after 7, it could be that they're either in another meeting regarding the jobs that they're going to be working on for the day, or they're waiting for other work to be completed before they can go out and do the work that they need to do. There will be times when trucks in the field wait for field switching to be completed before they can work. We need field switching to be completed because we do not want anyone to suffer a fatality or any type of injury while they're working. The tree trimming crews you may still see sitting on the site. They're sitting there because they're on standby waiting for the crews out there in the field working to give them notice of where to move to remove debris. So we may have some tree trimming crews sitting in the staging area. Again, people need to understand not every single truck you see in this area is meant to work in New Orleans. New Orleans is the gateway to the rest of the state. There are crews coming into this area that will be working in other areas. So just because you see a crew sitting around in a staging area in New Orleans does not mean that that crew is scheduled to work in this area. One other point I'd like to make: if the pipe running into the top of your meter pan or the pan itself is damaged, please call an electrician to get it repaired. We can flip the switch or turn power on to you, but if that is damaged, you still will not receive service. And I expect that later on today we will probably be able to refine our estimate, or we're hoping to, and hope to give you even more detailed information.
Charles, thank you. Can you just be available for a couple of questions before you go?
Not a problem.
Go ahead.
We've been getting reports that the workers have been only able to work 8-hour shifts. Can you respond to that? And also, it would be great to have some kind of map of where the transformers are out, what's coming up next, what's less damaged, what's going to happen, because it's hard to read the tea leaves of where Entergy's going right now.
Again, we are working across the entire city. You know, we can take time away and have somebody do that, but I think most people would prefer that we have people out in the field working, but we can attempt to do that. If somebody is working an 8-hour shift, I'm not aware of that. As I stated, we had guys working till midnight last night. They're working 16-hour shifts. I don't know if you're talking to somebody that got in late and they only worked 8 hours, or maybe they only worked 8 hours because there was only 8 hours worth of work to do. I'm not sure. I don't know where you got that information. I don't know who you were talking to, so I really cannot respond to that unless you can give me a specific name, a specific crew, and I can go and ask that person a specific question.
I understand it's frustrating. Don't get me wrong. We are just getting calls at the newsroom because people are so, like you said, they see trucks sitting around. They're hearing that somebody's working an 8-hour shift. And the map, I understand that the map may seem like an annoyance, but we know now that, for instance, this is really helpful information to know that all of the substations are working. If you know that, then from the substations, my understanding is it goes to a transformer and then it goes to your house, right? Is that right or not? Is that too simplified? Because
No.
if there are transformers out, it would be nice to know how many transformers are not working.
I think I gave you the number. I believe it was 28. As of now, we're still doing our assessments.
And so where are the transformers out? Like, can you tell us
There are
that?
transformers out all over the city of New Orleans. That is a citywide assessment.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but you understand what I'm saying. I feel like I've heard everybody's complaints about it was a really hot night last night, and it would be nice to know if my grandma lives in the Bywater and she's going to get power tonight, I'm going to go stay there. I'm not going to stay somewhere that has heavy damage. And so it would be nice to have some kind of map, a layout of where you guys are going.
But what people need to understand, even though we may be working in an area, that doesn't necessarily mean that power will be returned to that area at that particular time. There may be some additional work that needs to be done before service can be returned to that area. It's a very complicated process, and as I stated on yesterday, there may be times where we bring up an area, the area may be up for a while, we may discover a problem further back that will allow us to bring in even more customers. So we may have to take customers down for a little while to put even more customers up. It's really a very fluid process. It's a very fluid program. We can't give you, I apologize, we cannot give you the exact specifics that you are looking to. That would be me providing you, false information and information that's not totally accurate, and I just do not want to do that at this time. But I can tell you that our estimate, based upon our survey and what we've done so far, we anticipate, and this is a conservative estimate, that 70% of the city will be up by Monday.
Great. All right, Charles, thank you. All right, let's kind of go, Commander Jacques Thibodeau, the next area of difficulty we're having is the distribution of assets to the pods. I've asked Commander Thibodeau, who is in charge of the National Guard here, to speak directly to that issue. As I said, we've asked the governor to give us 3 more pods. He granted that. Those are being stood up right now, and the commander will speak to those issues.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Louisiana National Guard, we're fully committed right now to the recovery of the city of New Orleans. Yesterday, we ran out of commodities, and we've been able to identify additional commodities coming in. In addition, with the city opening 3 more pods, it allows us to basically double our distribution. So one of the things as we go through this is we've increased our manpower here in the city of New Orleans. We're also paying attention to our engineering mission and our law enforcement mission, but our primary focus right now is getting commodities and supplies, food, ice, water, to the community here. One of the things is as we look around and we go to the pods and the commodities, when we see long lines, that's a good thing for us because that means people are making a conscious decision to come in and do that. Now, what we try to do is get those lines down as quick as possible. We're trying to get those lines quick as possible. People need food, they need ice, they need water. We've doubled the capacity. We're going to increase our ratios as we come overnight. Our resupplies are occurring quicker than they were yesterday, and they're going to be quicker than they are today, tomorrow. We're going to continue to focus efforts on it. Right here as we look in, we're right there with you, and we promise we're going to continue to focus our efforts, get better, and give those food, water, and ice to the people that need it.
Great. Wait, Kate, no. We're not going out of order anymore.
Yes, sir.
You can wait till the end of it if you don't mind. Chief Surpass. Thank you. That's okay. It's all right.
Good morning. The police department continues to operate at full staff with the full assistance of the Louisiana National Guard. So on every 12-hour shift, we have over 500 New Orleans police officers and 230 National Guardsmen. Like you, I have to make decisions based on the status of energy. We will not stop the police department's full deployment until everybody feels safe with energy in their homes and at night. We will continue to stay in this configuration until we get the city lit back up. Last night, the Decadence Festival began in the city, and we have seen no problems, and we've seen a tremendous turnout. We will continue to police the Decadence Festival. The city has been incredibly quiet, and we appreciate the patience of the people of New Orleans as we continue to provide public safety, and you continue to regain your lives and recover from the storm. We will not stand down until everybody is covered by electricity, though.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Parent, the Fire Department.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The fire department remains busy at this time. We have a high call volume. We had 4 working fires last night, but the spirit and morale of the men is still up and high. I'd like to personally thank the families of the first responders and emergency workers out there for their sacrifice and for their support to their loved ones. Without them, we could not do our jobs, and we truly love them for that. Thank you.
Chief. Dr. Elder with EMS, please.
Good afternoon. Again, New Orleans EMS responded to approximately 250 calls for service yesterday, remaining busy. I would like to thank, again, the men and women of New Orleans EMS for continuing to stay on duty, to respond for calls. Also, I'd like to thank the state for deploying state mutual aid ambulances. They have been a tremendous asset. We continue to use them, and we're going to continue to use them throughout the near future. Again, I'd like to remind everybody about generator safety. Just minutes ago, I received a message from one of the LSU emergency medicine physicians. They've treated almost 20 in the past 2 days carbon monoxide poisonings throughout the region, so we continue to see it. Our medics were at homes yesterday for other reasons, saw generators, again, in unsafe operating conditions. They need to remain outdoors, do not use them in an enclosed garage, and keep them away from open windows or other areas where the ventilation may get into the house. Again, it's an odorless, colorless gas that is very difficult to notice. You won't know it's in the home. Keep the generator in a safe area away from any enclosed buildings.
Great. Thank you very much. All right, Dr. DeSalvo, please.
So the medical special needs shelter now has been running for a couple of days. We're taking care of 75 folks over there. The U.S. Public Health Service sent in some additional support team today, 40 folks who are on duty, in addition to the 50 that were already sent. We are continuing to take folks. We have people in transport all the time and have capacity to serve them. Things are going well. We know that the emergency rooms and hospitals are getting stacked up. We're working with them directly to make sure that we can offload clients that could potentially be taken care of at our special needs shelter instead. As the mayor mentioned, I had a chance to go out in the community to some high-rise places. Yesterday afternoon, I'm headed back out after the press conference. I was overjoyed at how great people were doing at taking care of each other and checking on their neighbors. We literally knocked on doors, went in rooms, looked at people, and ended up transporting a few, but by and large found people in good spirits, although they are ready to have their electricity. Most people had plenty of meds, et cetera. We'll be back out today and appreciate the help from the faith-based community and others of the team. I'm gonna call out to folks, doctors and others, to check on people that you know might be at risk, people who are at homebound, the elderly, folks on oxygen. 658-2500. Please call us if somebody needs special needs shelter. A couple of quick things. WIC is open in New Orleans East, 5640 Reed Boulevard. You can call that same number, 658-2625. Now I can't remember it. 658-2500 to get more information. We'll be open tomorrow also and trying to add more sites. We also want people to know the Urgent Care Center in New Orleans East has been opened, so if people need medical attention out there, it's open 24 hours a day. And finally, please stay hydrated, drink lots of water. Except for Venetian Isles, the tap water is fine. I do not want people to get dehydrated because it's just an added medical burden for them. Thank you.
Marcia St. Martin, Surgeon Water Board.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Surgeon Water Board issued a precautionary, and let me reinforce, a precautionary boil water advisory for Venetian Isles only. Water in the rest of the city is perfect. It's ready to drink, and we hope that you enjoy it and stay hydrated. But this is Venetian Isles only, and it is only precautionary. Thank you.
Tell them about our water trucks.
The Surgeon Water Board is prepared to assist our neighbors around us and the neighbors within the region in providing water by tank truckers to communities as the need arises. This is a service that we provided 7 years ago, and we're prepared to provide that service again. We've built temporary loading docks, and we're ready to begin transporting water to our neighbors around the region.
Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Tim, come tell us about, all right, flood protection.
Thank you. DOTD has cleared highways 11 and 90, and the floodgates across those two highways are now open for traffic, and the traffic is flowing. The floodgate at Downman and Hain is still closed, and crews are working that now. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Susan McClay, please.
Okay, our system on the West Bank performed as designed. All gates in the secondary line of protection are open. Highways 23 and 90 on the West Bank are open. However, our primary gates on our 4 primary waterways remain closed, including the Western Closure Complex. It is anticipated those will be opened hopefully tomorrow.
Thank you, Susan. Michelle Thomas, Deputy Mayor of Operations.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yesterday, we deployed 479 personnel across the city to continue the push to clear the streets, to cut and stack down trees, and to respond to requests for service. Of the 1,100 calls that we've received into 311 and 911 for down trees, yesterday we handled 325 of those jobs. As you can see from the map here, by the time our crews stopped working yesterday, we had cleared most of the primary and secondary roads of debris and made them passable. We expect that we will finish those today and continue working in the neighborhood streets until every street is clear of debris and passable. Today we have 578 personnel that are working to make this happen, including resources that we are sending down to Lake Catherine to begin hauling the debris that was set out by our residents. Residential waste collection resumed on yesterday, as the mayor said earlier, but due to high volumes, some of the routes were not completed. The contractors went out this morning and began today's collection with the Friday customers that were not picked up yesterday. Once that is complete, then they will begin the Saturday customers. If today is your regular household waste collection day and your garbage is not picked up today, it will be picked up tomorrow, so you can leave it on the curb tonight if it doesn't get picked up today. Normal trash collection for those on the Monday routes will take place this coming Monday, even though it is Labor Day. To help facilitate our debris removal process, we're asking residents to package all of their debris as follows. If you have garbage, food, trash, normal stuff, please put it in your cart or in a thick plastic bag and place it curbside. The same with recyclables. Your normal recyclables, you can put them in your recycling cart and place them curbside. If you have a large volume of recyclables that's related to damage from Hurricane Isaac, we ask that you place those in clear plastic bags, place them curbside, and call 311. If you have vegetative debris, from limbs that fell in your yard, small trees, cut them into 4-foot lengths and bundle or bag them and put them curbside. Your normal garbage collection can pick up the small vegetative debris that you have. But if you have large vegetative debris, big trees that have fallen, please cut them in 8-foot or 12-foot lengths, place them curbside and call 311, and we will have our emergency collection contractor to come and pick those up. Household hazardous waste such as televisions, radios, batteries, anything with mercury, as well as white goods like appliances should be placed curbside and call 311 so that our contractors can pick those up. If you have more than 4 tires that need to be dispersed of, place them curbside, call 311. If you have fewer than 3, then you can put them out on your regular trash collection day, and they'll be picked up by your regular contractor. Construction debris, drywall, roofing, shingles, plumbing, wood, things of that nature. Please, those will be picked up by our emergency debris contractor. Please place those curbside neatly and call 311, and we'll have our emergency collection contractor to pick them up, as well as any home furnishings that may have been damaged by the storm. Thank you.
Michelle, very thorough. I appreciate it. Cedric Grant, our Deputy Mayor of Infrastructure, then Justin Augustine, then Amy Quirk, then Mark Romig.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We continue our assessments of public buildings. Most of them suffered relatively minor damage. Only 2 facilities have fairly significant damage. That's Wesley Barrow Stadium and Mahalia Jackson Theater, and we'll be getting those back in place. We continue our public works effort. Street lights, as the mayor indicated to you, are being picked up and put back in place. As soon as we get power, you'll see street lights coming back on. Traffic signals, we've assessed the majority of our traffic signal system. Those that are operating with power are operating. We're putting temporary stop signs where we don't have power. Please observe the rules of the road. As the mayor has told you, please stop and look carefully as you go forward. And the last thing I wanted to tell you is that it's time now to enforce parking regulations, particularly in the CBD. In the French Quarter, we're beginning to have safety violations, and we'll go after those first. And just ask people to be courteous and pay attention. Our toll lot is fully operational and staffed, so you can, those who have been unfortunate and been towed can come see us in Cleveland Avenue and pick up your car.
Justin Augustine, the Regional Transit Authority.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Regional Transit Authority service is up and operating. We're operating 94% of our service at this particular time, during the hours of 6 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. And I'm going to repeat those times again, 6 a.m. through 7:30 p.m. I will now give you an identified list of the respective lines that are up and running today. The number 5, the Marigny Bywater. The number 10, Chapatulas. The number 11, Magazine. 12, St. Charles is operated through a bus shuttle. The 15, Ferret. The 16, South Claiborne. The 24, Napoleon. The 27, Louisiana. The 28, Martin Luther King. The 32, Leandis. It was added in particularly for today's service. The number 39, Tulane, which has a detour to Jeff Davis. 45, Lakeview. 47, Canal Cemeteries, operated through shuttle buses. 48, Canal Museum, operated via shuttle buses. 51, St. Bernard through Paris Avenue. 52, St. Bernard at St. Anthony. 55, Elysian Fields. 57, Franklin to Leon C. Simon. 62, Morrison Express. 64, Lake Forest. 80, Louisa. 84, Galvez inbound, no service on Miro between St. Bernard and Esplanade. 88, St. Claude. 91, Jackson Esplanade. 94, Broad. 101, Algiers Loop, detouring off of Patterson to Elmira, back to Verret via Opelousas. 104, General Myers Whitney. 108, Algiers Local, adding service on this Saturday. 114, General de Gaulle to Tullis. 115, General de Gaulle to Sullen. 201, the Kenner Loop. And I will remind everyone, please do not put any debris or trash on the respective streetcar lines. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, Amy Quirk, Economic Development, Mark Romig, and then a representative from FEMA, Andre, y'all choose.
Our team has been monitoring business openings, particularly focused on critical services, grocery stores, pharmacies, gas stations, and home repair stores. We've been keeping a list and posting it at ready.nola.gov with the locations and phone numbers of businesses that we have confirmed to be open. And so we ask citizens to check that list. It's very helpful. Let me give you a rundown of what is available throughout the city. We've confirmed about 19 grocery stores open in the city, all area Rouse's, Winn-Dixie's, Walmart, Uptown, Whole Foods, Robert's, Langenstein's, Conseco's, Bromart, and Save-A-Lot locations are open throughout the city. That's 2 grocery stores in Algiers, 1 downtown, 1 in the French Quarter, 3 in Gentilly, 2 in Lakeview, 1 in Mid-City, 2 in New Orleans East, and 7 uptown. With respect to pharmacies, all area Walgreens are open, CVS, Rite Aids, Car Drugs in Algiers. So we've got 5 total pharmacies located in Algiers, 5 downtown, 2 in the French Quarter, 5 in Gentilly, 1 in Lakeview, 1 in Mid-City, 6 in New Orleans East, and 9 uptown. And again, a specific listing of these businesses is available at ready.nola.gov and also accessible by our 311 operators. We've got 11 home repair stores open throughout the city. That's the Home Depot and the Lowe's, our neighborhood Ace stores, Johnny's True Value in Gentilly, as well as Mike's in Gentilly. We've got 1 open in Algiers, 1 downtown, 3 in Gentilly, 1 in Mid-City, 2 in New Orleans East, and 3 uptown. And then finally, gas stations. We know that gas stations have been, and finding available gas has been a challenge for some. So we're particularly focused on that area. Of the approximately 70 gas stations in the city, we've confirmed that about 46 are open, subject to availability of gas, which I'll speak to in a minute. But we've confirmed that there's 1 open in Algiers. That's at the Walmart. But there are at least 4 in the surrounding areas right outside of the Orleans line in Harvey, Marrero, and Gretna that are available, and those we've included on our list because of the availability of gasoline in Algiers. We've got 3 downtown and in the Warehouse District, 2 in the 9th Ward, 7 in Gentilly, 1 in Hollygrove, 1 in Lakeview, 3 in Mid-City, 17 in New Orleans East, and 7 uptown. We are continuing to monitor this list. We are aware that there is a lot of demand, and so stores that have fuel available are running out from time to time, and so we are working with them to ensure that they've got the appropriate supply. I encourage people to check with businesses on hours. People are not operating at their standard hours. And again, I want everyone to know that this list is available at ready.nola.gov. We post it and update it periodically throughout the day, and just encourage people to use that resource. Thank you.
Mark Romick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Please report that the airport is operating normally today. Amtrak is coming back online. We'll have trains arriving tomorrow and through the rest of the week. Last night we ran about 89% occupancy in the hotels. Tonight we expect 82%, and tomorrow night 77% occupancy. So there are hotel rooms available for any residents as well that are wishing to do that. Take advantage of that opportunity. Restaurants and attractions are coming online. The majority of the restaurants and attractions within the French Quarter, the downtown area, Warehouse District are operating, and pockets are opening up uptown as well as Mid-City and Lakeview as they get power. So restaurants are available as well, not only for our visitors but for our citizens. As the chief reported, the Southern Decadence Festival is in full swing, operating well. There is the Tulane-Rutgers game tonight at 7 p.m., so we expect visitors in for that. And the Carnival Conquest will be in dock tomorrow, disembarking and picking up passengers for its normal weekly cruise. We do want to thank the hospitality industry workers who have not only taken care of their own families and individual needs, but have been supporting the visitors that have been in town with us all week, and continuing to do a great job for our city to get this commerce back in line and this visitor spending moving forward. We're welcoming visitors, and that's an important piece of our economic reality. Thank you.
Mark, thank you. And also like to ask a representative from FEMA. As you know, we have asked Governor Jindal to include Orleans Parish in his amendment to President Obama on their request. We have FEMA individuals on the highest level embedded with us in the city, and I'd like them to walk through what the process is for FEMA assistance.
Good day. This is Andre Cadogan with FEMA, and I shortly will introduce Mr. Wayne Rickert, who is the Deputy FCO for FEMA. And we actually have some new news, new information to share, some welcome information. We just received, as we are in here this morning, notification that the Presidential Declaration for Federal Assistance has been expanded to now provide for the individual assistance for members of Orleans Parish that the Mayor has just mentioned. This new assistance does provide for housing assistance and other needs assistance to eligible members of the public. Members of the public will have to individually register to be determined to have their eligibility determined for this program. And to register for this program, there are several ways one can register. And let me just go ahead and pull this up for you. Wayne has just provided. The registration process is you can either call in to 1-800-621-3362. Once again, 1-800-621-3362. And you can also register online at www.disasterassistance.gov. Once again, www.disasterassistance, all one word, .gov. This declaration to include Orleans Parish today includes a declaration which also came out yesterday, which included 5 parishes also for individual assistance, which also included Plaquemines, St. John, St. Tammany, St. Bernard, and Jefferson, and those parishes were declared yesterday for individual assistance. The declaration this morning, expansion, added Orleans Parish to that assistance. So once again, residents can register at 1-800-621-3362 by phone, or register online at www.disasterassistance.gov. And with that, I do want to introduce the Deputy Federal Coordinating Officer, Mr. Wayne Rickert. Wayne is here representing the Federal Coordinating Officer and will be a resource to FEMA and to the City of New Orleans on the highest levels to provide continued assistance. Thank you.
Thank you, Andre. Mr. Mayor. Sure. I would like to also provide one other number for those individuals who would need TTY access. There are still some residents out there that are using that, and that is 1-800-462-7585. Again, 1-800-462-7585. In addition, I just wanted to mention from the news of the individual assistance opportunity, the FEMA is also under the National Disaster Recovery Framework working with our federal partners to see what other assistance, non-Stafford Act, is available to the communities throughout the state of Louisiana, and we'll be working those assessments in the coming days.
Great. Thank you so
much.
Thank you, sir. I neglected to introduce Senator Morrell. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I don't see our council president, so I'm going to ask Cynthia if you will address us on behalf of the council, please. Well, but I think y'all agree because she's the head of the Utility Commission.
Okay.
Committee.
All right.
I thought y'all had time to have it before we came.
All right.
If she wants the heat, that's fine. I'm tired of it.
Go ahead, please.
I'm going to take the heat today, shortly. I want everyone to know that your consul has been here the whole time. We've been working diligently, and New Orleans has a unique situation. We are the governing body over the utility company. We have a company, it's called Energy New Orleans. It is extremely important that the residents of New Orleans understand that the rest of the state is governed by the Louisiana State Public Service Commission. When Mr. Rice speaks, he speaks for ENO New Orleans, which is Energy New Orleans. The resources that are allocated to our company are for Orleans Parish. So when you hear other parishes talking about their needs, that is stuff that is going to be handled by Entergy, the parent company. It will be handled by the Louisiana State Public Service Commission. The second thing I want to make note of is that when they give you estimates, they are including the devastated parts of Orleans Parish. They are not talking about neighborhoods that did not have water and extreme devastation. They're factoring that in. So we have been working, the members of the Utility Committee, which I chair, have been working diligently with ENO. We are striving, as the reporter just asked for this morning, to get energy to release a map and a timeline. It has been requested by all of the council, and we will open a docket. And what that means is that when this event is over, we will open a docket, we will have meetings, and we will look at lessons learned and how to improve. But we are diligent, we are going to stay on top of this, and we're going to make sure that every resident is restored as soon as possible.